Hello everyone, welcome to a DSP video. This one will be a little bit different, but I gotta say this. I'm sorry everyone. I gotta apologize. As you can see, Doug could not make it. Douglas Fur, everyone's favorite co-host. When I uploaded that video, I got overwhelmingly positive feedback. Everyone loved him. Everyone said Doug is an amazing co-host. Theo, I really love Doug. He really added to the video. You know, some people even said that he was more entertaining than Phil. And you know, Doug has a lot of like confidence issues. Like he always tells me when I'm not recording, Theo, I don't know if, you know, I can be in front of the camera. He's very shy. And you know, me and him were both reading the comments and he was just flattered. With the comments he got. So, you know, he couldn't make it for this video, unfortunately. He has other stuff to do. You know, he's a very busy tree, okay? You know, he can't be everywhere at once, guys. But he does wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He really means it on the, you know, from the bottom of his roots. So, I want you guys to know, he wanted to be here. I want him to be here. You want him to be here. He just couldn't make it. Sorry, maybe next time, next video, even if it's after Christmas, maybe he'll show up again. I don't know. It's really up to him. You know, he's as I said, he's a very busy tree. He has a lot of things to do. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Let's get into DSP. Mostly I'm gonna do forum post stuff, but I just want to go over this because you'll know why very quickly. So let's get started. Oh, wrong window.
Charity, thank you, Casey Chan. Kekin did another 10-bit cheer. He says, all tutorial videos for Skullgirls were, you need to have this mentality and predict for this combo to work. Very rarely was, this is free if you press the button. I'm surprised you dropped it.
I don't know what he means by that. Like, you need to have this mentality to predict that this combo will work, but like, that's how every fighting game is. Like, you learn a combo and you're like, okay, well, I think this combo should work. I don't know. Skullgirls is a game anyone could kind of enjoy. It's a very accessible fighting game, but okay.
Honestly, if I remember correctly.
By the way, Kikon said that cheer. I don't know if he's watching my videos. Kekon, whatever. If you're watching my videos, don't throw matches when you're fighting against DSP. Just a word of advice. Just be yourself. Just, you know, let him have it, because that's how you play a fighting game. When you throw a match, it's not fun. I'm not saying that, you know, fuck DSP, that's why you gotta win. I'm just saying that in general because it's kind of boring to see an opponent not do their best. I don't know, whatever. But Kikon, if you're trying to get DSP to play Skullgirls, then you know maybe there's hope in you yet. Maybe we could be friends, Kikon. Maybe, but I don't know, man.
The reason I dropped Skullgirls was because no one really cared. Like, I played it. I remember playing it and saying, wow, this game's pretty solid, and you know, the gameplay mechanics and everything. And after playing it a few seconds...
He says nobody cared about it, but the thing is that Skullgirls is it's an indie game. So right off the back, like, this immediately, it's gonna have a very small audience. It's not gonna pull in a lot of people because it's an indie game. Not a lot of indie games get a lot of followings unless it's like, it gets a huge following, like Undertale did, Hotline Miami, that kind of stuff. I mean, those bring in a lot of people because they really made a name for themselves. Skullgirls, I mean, maybe in the inner circles of the FGC, it's kind of making a splash there. I know that, like, you know, a lot of people, like Skullgirls does have a very lively, passionate community, but it's not like, you know, oh, Street Fighter 6 here, you know, it's nothing like that.
Sessions, no one really cared, and other stuff was coming out for me to play, so I just played the other stuff and never went back to it. Skullgirls, it was a game that ended up eventually over time having a more, what's the word? A cult following. That's it. Not a mainstream following. It never really saw massive mainstream success, but it did have a cult following. Honestly, it's all about game design. And I think it was because of the anime-ish, almost chibi-like characters that they...
Okay. This is what triggered me the most. the game isn't even chibi. The art style isn't chibi. It's not anime. They based it on fucking 1920s cartoons. Like, that's where it's inspired from. It pulls a lot of inspirations from that. You can kind of see that within Peacock's design. Just look at Peacock. There you go. You know, they have the diner scene for Philly's story. A lot of stuff. Film reels in it. Like, it's very clearly pulled from 1920s. So when he said this, I was sitting there, I was like, if he's saying this is anime, chibi, like this art style, and this is why people didn't like the game, then Cuphead really shouldn't have been a success. You know, the thing is that Skullgirls has, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons that Skullgirls might not be successful and it might not be mainstream. There's a lot of reasons you could kind of find for Skullgirls not to have that kind of base, but that reason right off the bat is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, it's animation design. And the art style's fucking good. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, you have shit taste. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you. Matter of fact to you guys. If you disagree with me that Skullgirls looks visually pleasing, then you know, bye. No, just kidding. But I really like the art style. I don't really think the art style is what people got turned away from the game. I could kind of see the character roster. I could see people not liking the character roster being mostly girls, even though the name of the game is Skullgirls. I don't know. Even though there's 2 male characters in it, which is okay. But I could see that. I could see them not liking the size of the roster. I could see that too. There's a lot of reasons, but I think most of it is honestly when it used to be with Konami. Konami did not allow Lab Zero to patch the game. They were gonna patch a command list, which should have been in the base game, but Konami was like, no, we're not gonna greenlight the patch. We're not gonna do anything. They wanted to do DLC characters with Konami, didn't work out. So then they moved to Autumn Games. Autumn Games had an interest in Skullgirls, so they moved over there. They did a lot of patches. They gave a command list with Encore. Encore was also a free game for those who bought the vanilla Skullgirls, which was really nice. Even on PS3, which was like rare. It blew my mind the fact that Encore was free for me. And then the DLC characters was funded on Indiegogo. Because Autumn Games, according to one of the staff people who worked on the game, Autumn Games itself was going through a lawsuit at the time, and so they could not fund the DLC characters. So they're like, okay, well, you know, if you want to do a Kickstarter for it or Indiegogo, go right ahead. They did that, and then they were able to fund all the DLC characters for the game. And then they used the extra money that they got to make Second Encore and to make the mobile game. There you go. Which was pretty cool. I like the Second Encore. Second Encore is obviously the definitive version of the game, but it had a very big following for an indie game, for a fighting game that's an indie game that, you know, it had a pretty good following, enough for their fan base to fund DLC characters.
They had in the game, you know. That's going to turn off a lot of people who are looking for more serious fighting games. And
the other thing is that Skullgirls also pulled inspiration from Darkstalkers, a great fighting game. I love Darkstalkers. I loved it. I fucking loved it. I really, really wish on a blue moon that Capcom someday wakes up and says, we should make Darkstalkers 4. And I'd buy it. I wouldn't care if it was Street Fighter V with Darkstalkers. I would not care. I'd buy that regardless. That's how much of a Darkstalkers fanboy I am.
You have to realize when you're making a game, it's all about game design. So just because you're a fan of that art style doesn't mean everyone else is. And I think, honestly, the art style is what kind of shot that game in the foot. Art style doesn't mean... You have to realize when you're making a game, it's all about game design. So just because you're a fan of that art style doesn't mean everyone else is.
That is the really, really dumb fucking... that also triggers me. I'm getting more angry just by listening to this, because they made a game they wanted to make. That was the thing, they made a fighting game they wanted to make, they liked the art style that they wanted to go with, and that's what they went with. And a lot of people still supported the fucking games. The art style didn't really do anything. And again, that's not even why people dislike the game. I've actually talked to people who dislike the game. They have reasons other than, well, the art style. Like, no. And every fighting game player I've talked to as well said they wish games were 2D sprites. They hate the 3D sprites that Street Fighter 5 has and all that shit. I mean, people loved Guilty Gear, how they kind of mixed 2D, 3D perspective, which was, great. But they did not like what Street Fighter 4 and 5 did to Fighters, make it 3D. Look at King of Fighters 14. Just look at that game. Everyone hated that game just because the visual style was just so bland. I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on King of Fighters 14 and Street Fighter 5, but like, it's just a lot of people like 2D sprited fighting games. People like that in fighting games. I mean, it's not to say that you can't make a good 3D fighting game. You can't. That's not impossible. But again, people did not, had other reasons for disliking Skullgirls, not because it has a certain art style. And if that's the case, then Cuphead shouldn't have been a success.
And I think honestly, the art style is what kind of shot that game in the foot.
No.
Because honestly, I'm not a huge...
No, the reason why Skullgirls did not perform very well, or did not get a big following like Street Fighter, is because it was an indie game, and the vanilla version of the game was published with Konami, who treated that game like crap, and did not want them to patch a command list. Since they didn't have a command list, no one would want the fucking game. Because why would you buy a fighting game without a command list that doesn't have a very basic feature or function in a fighting game? But they added that in Encore, and Second Encore obviously has it, so they added a command list later, so that's why it kind of grew a bigger audience afterwards, because Encore was really where they started to fix a lot of the issues that the vanilla Skullgirls had, because Konami was being retarded about it.
Huge fan of that either. So I'm playing the game, I'm like, wow, here's a solid game with art that I can't stand.
He doesn't like the art style, then why does he like Cuphead so much? Oh, Cuphead is so cool, the art style's amazing. Oh, Skullgirls, garbage art style, get the fuck out of here.
You know? Alright.
Yeah, take a sip, you fucker.
Lundor Gale.
What's this?
Did 10-bit cheer and asks, what happened to Yakuza Kiwami?
Okay, I mean, okay, you see why I had to do that part. He is just so wrong about Skullgirls. He's 100% wrong, guys. DSP is literally Hitler. He's literally Hitler. He said something so fucking heinous. I think YouTube should shut down his channel. What he just said there was just terrible. It was awful. He's a terrible human being now. He's terrible. I mean, really? Okay. Now we get into the big shits. The thing that people want to, that I kind of want to talk about. There's two threads I'm going to talk about that, mostly the post that DSPs left behind. So let's read this one. This is in the, let's talk about the phrase mentally ill. The guy pretty much says that Phil should not be using the term mentally ill. One of his fans that has been a mental illness said, "Can you please stop doing it?" And Phil kind of said, "No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of people who go after me over some dumb shit. It's not really a reason, but okay. Let's read this, because this kind of says the same thing that he said in that tweet, which is okay." So he says, "You do realize that only mentally ill people would actually do to me the things that have been done, right? Humans in a normal mental capacity, i.e., the ability to feel morality, compassion, and the difference between right and wrong, don't do things like..." Okay, I'm going to stop him right there before we get into the laundry list of things he says. Let's take a look at a few things. Very, very quickly. I'm not going to analyze every single word, but first off, people who are mentally ill, it can, they might not be able to understand right or wrong. They might not have a strong moral compass or whatever. So it's like, oh my god, it's like 2:30 in the morning, so my mind's a little fried right now, but this is the only time I can do this video. But okay, so like he says this, but it's like okay, but it doesn't really change that you're kind of lumping these people like detractors in with people with literal mental illnesses. You know, there's no like he says like oh, do you think that people with normal mental capacity, i.e., the ability to feel morality, and all these other things, but it's like for people who have literally a mental illness might not feel some of these things or even understand it. They might understand that I can't do this because I might get yelled at or something, but they may not understand why it's wrong. It's very complex and it's like really something that it's like. But let's go through the laundry list. Impersonating companies to deal false copyright strikes against YouTube channels. Well, okay, but that's not really mental illness. That's just kind of dumb. It's a trolling thing, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Doxing someone, which happened within 2 months of me moving here. Didn't he like post his own return address or something on Twitter or something? Didn't he dox himself? Whatever. DDoS attacks, attacking someone's internet connection constantly, which costs money. Okay, I mean, but I wouldn't say that's really mentally ill. I would just say that that's kind of fucking shitty. You know, like bullies. You could kind of get if you call them bullies, he would have more of a case. I'll say that right now. If he called them bullies, he'd have more of a case right now than saying they're mentally ill. Swatting not only someone but their own family members who aren't even involved with their activities. We really don't have any proof of them swatting any family members. We only know that they swatted Phil, so it's really hearsay with this. Like, I don't know, but okay. Leaving incredibly insulting, inflammatory, toxic comments on videos in the hundreds in the hopes of showing up in detractor videos. Really, really, that's what makes you fucking mentally ill. Leaving insulting comments. Oh my god, I've said this in like older videos, but I've seen like pretty like shitty comments on my other channel, my main channel, and I back when I was like in high school, I think I would see like comments saying that like oh man you're fucking autistic, oh you're retarded, all that kind of stuff, like whatever, and it did suck. I was kind of pissed off about that, but the most all I did back then was I would copy and paste their comment and post it on their videos. I know, what a great comeback, right? But like that's all I did because it was like it's a fucking comment. Like the guy wrote it just to piss you off. That's really it. Who cares? Like I get called a Greek immigrant. I get called I get called a lot of dumb things. It sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, I get told that, oh man, you have no life. You just do this all the time. I respond with me telling them how my day was. It's like, oh, I all I do is talk about Phil. Okay, well, here, reply. I just went to see the movies. I saw this movie. It was really good. It was a really good movie. Oh, I had pasta tonight for dinner. It was a pretty good pasta. I would just tell them my day just so that they get the point that you know 24/7 I'm not talking about Phil. So there you go. So I just gotta have fun with that. Most I don't see an issue with deleting comments because it's your channel. It's your video. You can do what you want. But it really depends on a lot of things. I don't know. I don't really moderate my comments that much. I look at them, but I don't really do much about it. But it is what it is. But saying that makes you mentally ill is fucking retarded. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I know someone's gonna say, "Well, oh, how dare you say the word retarded?" I'm not using it in. Okay, I'll try not to use it. Okay, how about that? I'll just say it's really dumb that he's lumping in something that's this mild. This is really mild, and he's like putting in with all these other things. Like, okay, sending false copyright strikes. Okay, I could see why that's so serious for him. Doxing. Okay, because no one wants to be doxed. Okay, 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 fair enough. DDoS attacks, okay. Swatting, yeah. Leaving toxic comments, really, really, okay. Watching a 20-hour playthrough and reading thousands of YouTube comments to compile a 3-hour video, only highlighting things that can be misconstrued as bad gameplay behavior by the gamer, and only highlighting the most purposefully toxic and of the YouTube comments to maximize the amount of damage to the content creator. Okay, this kind of ties in with the stupid fucking comments I get sometimes that, oh Theo, you watch so much DSP stalking, Theo. Oh. I watch like what his pre-streams on DSP Gaming, and I watch his vlogs on the Giga Hate vlogs. That's like nowhere near as much as the average DSP fan watches. I mean, back when Kyo Gaming was like the shit, his fans were watching 3 channels worth of videos. But me watching just the weekend previews, some vlogs here and there, and all that, oh, that makes me a stalker. But people watching every video in on 3 channels, oh, that's okay. And I like how he acts as if they all sit there for 20 hours to do that, but like, you know, they probably spread it out amongst like time, and they probably don't go through every part. Just saying, it's really ridiculous to say that. It's ridiculous. This and the comments. These 2 things are the dumbest things that I've read so far, and I'm already, you know, afraid to read the rest. But let's continue. Signing up someone for hundreds of free publications. Why is free in quotations free publications to spam both their public email and real life mailboxes with so much crap that they are nearly unusable? You know, that happens, but you know, maybe you should not use your private personal email as your public email. You know, just saying. And the real life mailboxes. I mean, yeah, that sucks, but he really could not contact the publication to say I don't want this. I don't know. I don't know, man. Contacting both the state and federal government tax departments, accusing a person of mass tax fraud, spurring a state investigation that may make the person lose their house. Okay. Okay, a few things about this. You could say that's kind of shitty that someone ratted on Phil for doing something wrong that he did not know was wrong. Sure, you can make that case, and that's kind of fair. That's kind of a fair point. I'll give you that, but that the way that he said this, it makes it sound as if like reporting something wrong to the authorities is bad. Like, oh, it's like if I did something, it's like if I broke the law. Like if I just broke the law, let's say, and you call the cops on me, am I gonna say, well, you're mentally ill for calling the cops on me? It's like, no. You know, you reported me for doing something wrong, or whatever. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's kind of shitty in DSP's case, but you know, he kind of should have, you know, really taken the initiative on it when he moved. But he trusted a Connecticut state attorney, tax attorney, or accountant for taxes in another state. Again, that's like taking advice from a doctor in Greece and then using that prescription in America. And it's like, well, in Greece you could get any drug you want over, you know, like regardless. You don't really need all these like restrictions that the American government puts on drugs, because in Greece it's like, well, the pharmacist that's there is like trained like an actual pharmacist for starters, and you know, whatever. People there don't go there to like overdose on drugs or whatever. Here might be different, but you know, again, you're not going to go from one place to another and just go off by advice from a place that's outside their jurisdiction. And I'm just saying, these are a lot of different laws in each state. How, like, you know, that's the thing. Like, you know, with the internet, we're starting to see how how every state has different laws regarding a lot of things. Every state has different laws. So he doesn't think that maybe the taxes are different in Washington. Okay. So there's that. Completely fabricating a story about someone's new girlfriend not being real, but instead being an escort, and that the person is performing mass fraud to their viewers to pay for the cost of the escort visiting for Christmas, then spreading the story as fact among thousands of idiotic morons who just spread it to more gullible people. Now that's a loaded topic because I've talked to a lot of people. There's people who genuinely believe this whole Kim nonsense. Personally, to me, I don't see it being true. I believe that Kim is an escort service. That I'll believe. I agree with that. But this whole thing with what's it called, with oh DSP, you got a escort service, this sounds a little too ridiculous, and it's too coincidental in a lot of ways. Like last weekend, Kim's like, oh, if this guy doesn't call me tomorrow, I'm gonna post stuff on the internet. And then the next day, okay guys, he called me, it's all good, I'm not posting it. It's like, okay. And then recently he was like, she said like, oh, I'm gonna report him to Twitch. And everyone's like, oh, he's fucked now. She's reporting to Twitch. Like that's gonna like Twitch gives a fuck. But so then she said that, and then she's like, well, he's gonna pay. Oh, if he doesn't pay me, he keeps asking me for another month. This is nonsense. Okay, I'll give him another month. It's like this person keeps delaying these deadlines, so it's really, really, really hard to convince me that that's legit. The only way that you could ever convince me that he has a escort service is if you have like a video and an audio file and pictures, everything imaginable to show me that he was doing all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's legit. So there you go. But I would not say this is mentally ill to say this though, because again, people are basing this off of like things that happened during the summer. It's the same thing with Josephine. People kind of assumed it was Josephine because of the timing. So again, that's why people were guessing these things. So there you go. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So then it goes on to say, sorry when one of you actually goes through the above and somehow doesn't believe that people that do that shit are mentally ill. You have the right to complain. None of you, though, go through this shit, and no humans in their right mind would actually do the above things. If you have done any of the above, you are mentally ill, and you need to realize it and seek out help. There's reason your life is probably as fucked up as it is. So I guess if you have a mental illness, you do all these things. You dox people, you DDoS them, you swat them, you type mean comments, which okay, no, caught myself there. Setting copyright strikes, saying all these dumb things. You're mentally ill apparently. So when you have a mental illness, you do all those things. That's what qualifies you. Because Phil has a PhD, guys. I really trust his diagnosis of things. Okay. Then he says this. I don't understand it, Phil. It's just some middle-aged, chubby guy who plays video games and he keeps getting women, but I'm a normal guy and I can't get a girl. Life isn't fair. What? What does... Oh, dude, is he really finding a way to brag about how he has a girlfriend? Okay. No, actually, women are attracted in general to intelligent, funny guys. Uh, how do I use rations? Okay. And funny guys, shitty dicks. They're not attracted to people who do any of the above shit because clearly, if I'm trying to get a girl and let's say I did one of these things, I'm gonna tell them that too, right? I'm like, hey, girl, did you know that I typed mean comments on DSP's videos? Yeah, totally. I'm sure a lot of guys give the girls that pickup line, that great pickup line. They're not attracted to people who do any of the above shit because outside of really sheltered, inclusive group of immature humans that consider themselves some kind of trolling subculture. Ooh, real fucking people in the real world find this shit to be signs of mental illness. Okay, a woman won't touch you with a 50-foot pole because she doesn't want to deal with your crazy bullshit that you think is funny. Stop wasting people's time with pointless threads like this. I, it feels like that he was talking to Fred, honestly, when he was typing this, but that's something. Okay, so he made another post. Uh, yeah, this one. Yeah, it was this one. Uh, let's go to the first page. This one you might need, you know. So let's start with this. I just saw the weekend preview, and I'm disappointed that Okami is being dropped. Apparently, though, donated, it wasn't receiving enough attention, which means it wasn't receiving enough views, tips, or cheers. I partially understand. I'll get to why I say partially. That Phil has to generate some money, but with this Mario Sunshine playthrough being delayed for essentially the same reasons, will playthroughs be dependent on how much attention they get? Yes. He has always done this. He has always done this. Guys, he has put games behind view walls. He's done view walls a lot. So, you know, I want you guys to go back to one of my old videos if you really want to. And I've said back then that he's going to put games behind tips and bit walls. We're going to see that shit, right? I said that. And here we are. I hope not, because I'm one of the fans that just don't have the funds to support with physical money. Well, fuck you, hey, by the way, because apparently you don't mean shit to Phil. Coming back to why I said I partially understand is because one of Phil's complaints was the playthrough wasn't doing well on YouTube. Well, he said he doesn't care about YouTube views, but okay. I'm familiar with YouTube payments, and I believe Phil has explained this before as well. You won't see the money from ad revenue for a couple of months. Exactly. Exactly. So this whole thing where I need to do playthroughs that will make money on YouTube is fucking bullshit because he doesn't get paid until months later. So like he could technically do Mario Sunshine right now and just get paid through Twitch, and that's it because he wouldn't make the money for the YouTube revenue if he let's say that Nintendo never copyright claimed those videos. He could have still made the money for Mario Sunshine, but it would come months later after that the time that he said he need the money by. So it doesn't really the whole YouTube thing is bullshit, but okay. The big concern is getting enough money to pay his taxes, but only money that could help at this time would be tips and cheers. It really doesn't matter what he plays as long as he and the content are entertaining when it comes to getting money to pay his taxes. I just don't understand Phil's emphasis on getting ad revenue when it doesn't even matter when his taxes are due at the end of January and he won't see the money until way after that. Hey, by the way, you are the forum member. You're the best forum guy. Awesome. Thanks for reading my anxiously waiting for a reply to explain this. I kind of think he might be a troll, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. That dumb guy says he has to do what he has to do to get the debts paid. Okay. KG says don't feed it. Okay, KG, eat shit. We're not gonna go through all this because it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm always interested what that dumb guy says. Okay, because it has. Okay, so hey, by the way, it says why would fans have to pledge however much money to see a playthrough when the game was donated? Because it has to have some monetary value for DSP to get out of his predicament. Jesus. It isn't top priority for him to lose earnings. Okay. Did he see anything else? What the fuck? Contest, uh-oh. You all know about how DSP feels about that. Alright, let's get to the main attraction here, what we want to see. Phil's response. This is a great response, by the way. I love this response. It's great. It's amazing. So here we go. It's about the big picture. I played Breath of the Wild earlier this year, earning exactly $0 from YouTube for it. Nintendo claimed all the videos and took the ad revenue. But a small hardcore group of viewers that really liked the playthrough continuously showed up for the streams and tipped, cheered, subbed, even frequently getting it cheer wars, resulting in big income. Yeah, it has nothing to do with you whining and begging for money, right? And when he played Breath of the Wild, it was during this whole switch from leaving Machinima to Nintendo. Like, he was purposely reading emails about content ID claims because he was not in a managed partnership anymore. So he made it his mission to ram it down your throat how he is losing money on YouTube because he's not with a managed partnership anymore. So there you go. But the cheer wars or whatever. But let's continue. The Okami playthrough had an average of 240 viewers on Sunday. The people that were there all complained that they wanted to watch something else. And the only reason I even got anything decent was because one viewer dropped a rare 3,000-bit cheer and cheer then left. That was only the second stream. It was only going to go down from there. Sorry, that's not enough to support keeping the playthrough going when I'm in a current financial crisis. He usually averages 240 to 300 viewers. Usually on second stream, unless he's playing Players Unknown Camping Grounds. Then he gets a lot more views. Again, he whores himself out for that because he's a whore. He's a whore now, guys. So there you go. Not rocket science at all. Want a playthrough to continue? Show up, cheer, sub, tip, or watch it on YouTube. But okay, look. Here's the thing about that. Immediately. So if you like a playthrough, if you love a playthrough, like, oh man, I really like this playthrough, you have to give him money for it. Otherwise, your opinion doesn't matter to him, which is typical for DSP, classic DSP. But the YouTube views is the dumbest thing he said, because when he streams it, he bases if he's going to continue it off of the stream. So why would YouTube views matter if he's looking at stream views and stream participation? Okay. Alright. If that doesn't happen, I have no obligations to continue unless it's something that's been outright promised. Mario Sunshine was promised, guys, but he won't admit it. He's afraid of commitment. I feel like ever since the whole Crash thing with the 6 hours, 7 hours promise, he became very, very afraid of that word, of actually committing. This is actually what all streamers do. Tevin streams. He streams games. I'm not a huge fan of Dino Crisis, but I still come into those streams because, guess what? He's entertaining. I enjoy his streams. People may not like me playing Street Fighter V. Some people may not like me playing Final Fight 3 when I did that one time. I still got people to come out, and they still enjoyed the stream because I tried to make it entertaining. I did not put fucking games behind view walls or bit walls or whatever. No streamer does this. I have not seen a streamer do this. I have not. I could go on a stream. I could find a stream right now, and no one will even talk about cheers or tips or bits or tips or views. No one talks about this. DSP is the only streamer that I know that does this. You could probably find examples of other streamers begging for views, but I'm very confident that DSP is like one of the few that actually do this. But people are so demanding on me for some reason that no matter what I do, it's never good enough because you can't please everyone. Too bad. The new reality is that I need to keep my house, so you need to deal with it. I like how he cannot respond in a very polite way to this guy. He just says, "You need to deal with it. Deal with it, bitch." Like, he could have said, like, "Look, I understand you like Okami. It's I like the game. I wish I could keep playing it, but I need to pay the bills for the house. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put the game on hold until I'm in a better situation right now. I would love to do it again. Maybe I might try out again on one day, but other than that, I don't think I'm gonna do it or whatever, something like that. But instead, he has to be make himself the victim. Why are you people picking me out? Other streamers do it all the time. Oh, I need to keep the house, so you need to deal with it. Okay, well, yeah, be a fucking asshole about it. Okay. And for the know-it-alls, whining that the game has donated, the person that donated personally emailed me to say they understood the situation I'm in and had no ill feelings at all that I wasn't continuing the playthrough at this time. Okay, so first off, we don't know who donated the game. For all we know, DSP bought the game. For all we know, he bought it. Isn't it funny that Anonymous donates WWE? Oh, thanks to that Anonymous for donating me to WWE. Uh, there was another game. Pretty sure there was another game that came out this year that was donated to him. I can't think of it. There was another one. There was another game that was donated to him, I think. But that Anonymous gets a shout out. Oh, I got a fan donated me the Switch. Not gonna say who it is. It wants to be anonymous. Oh, I got Okami. The person wants to be anonymous. So it's very, very suspicious that these two donators are remaining suspicious. Now the thing is that I'm a little bit more like whatever, like I can kind of understand why DSP, like, let's assume that DSP bought these things on his own. Let's just assume this for a second. I can kind of understand why DSP would want to hide the fact that he bought a new Switch. I can understand that. That's whatever. I mean, sure, someone probably donated that to him, but for the sake of this argument, let's say that Okami's $20. That's pretty fucking cheap. But okay, but it's weird that these two people are remained anonymous, and that's the other thing. The person who donated Okami, why would they need to be anonymous? I can understand why the person who donated the Switch wanted to be anonymous, because that's a lot of money. $300 a Switch to send to Phil, that's a lot of money. So I can understand why that person would want to be anonymous. But this guy, the person who gives him a $20 game, oh, I need to be anonymous. I don't know, that's a little weird. And isn't it funny that every time that something's going, like, that's being shady, that, oh, wow, this person who donated this is getting a shit end of the stick, he emailed me and said it was okay. Okay. I mean, it's like, I'm sure that happens a lot of times. Like, I was talking, like, that happened to me a lot of times as well. Like, a friend of mine, Cyan, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's like, Sayorin Q8. It came up here. He donated me a capture card. Very nice of him. And for a while, I could not figure that thing out. I was like, oh shit, it's not capturing. I was really panicking. And I was talking to the guy, and I was like saying, like, look, I can't get it to work. It's not working. I don't know what to do, and this and that, until I started messing with it a little bit more, and I finally understood it. I got it. I worked on it. Looked up, Google. I used Google. I used Freedom Chat. I used all kinds of people to help me out because I was like panicking at that point. Got it to work. Made me happy. Made me happy that I actually get to use that thing in videos now, which is great. I love it. But that was actually a thing that I actually had to talk to the person with, and I really, really was like panicking about it. This guy just offhandedly is like, well, the guy emailed me and said it was okay. Like, I might I think I even made a public apology to the guy too, because I was like, oh man, I can't get this to work. I'm really sorry, like this or that. I was like really like apologetic about it too. Uh, and then when I got to work, I was like really happy about it. I was like ecstatic. Phil just throws out there. Oh, oh, he said it was okay. Okay, all right. What else? Was to continue to play at this time. They were actually quite stoked that I even played the game at all. He didn't even make it that far. I'm not that far into Okami myself either, so I can't really talk. But he made it to like the first boss, and that's it. That's like not even that much to be like, wow, that's really satisfying. Because like I'm sure once you get past the first dungeon, the game starts to open up more. The beginning, it's like it's a lot of like tutorial stuff. But okay, let's go. Let's continue. Which is all they were looking for. So stop trying to pretend you're psychic and that you know someone is pissed when they're not. Okay, where did this come from though? Because the guy that made this thread basically said that he wanted to see Okami continue. He wanted to see it continue, and he's like, "Look, the guy who donated to me said it was okay," but it's like, okay, but what about the people who actually liked the playthrough who did not donate the game? And they didn't care about that guy. They just liked the playthrough. Fuck them, right? I don't know. Let's continue. The reality. There are people disappointed that I'm not continuing Okami now, but being actual fans who care about me, they understand. Oh my god! This is what I mean when I say he's conditioning his people to be his slaves, so that they allow him to step all over them, because I can understand like I'm gonna use that same example as I said before. I would have understood perfectly if that guy was like, stop talking to me about it. He was like, oh, I did this and it was this blah blah blah. Like I could understand him being frustrated about that. I could understand that because I can understand that. Fine, perfectly fine. But I still tried to get it to work. It worked, and it was great. La di da, etc. Uh, but I'm not. I wouldn't tell him. Look, if you're an actual fan or a friend of mine, you would be okay with everything, and you're gonna like kiss my ass regardless. Okay, you're gonna kiss it right on my ass. Okay, you're gonna love it. It's like no, no one would be okay with that. But okay, let's continue. It's only the selfish trolls who will make a deal out of this, as usual, and nobody cares what they think, so threads like this are pointless. So yes, if you care about Okami, if you liked Okami, and if you were concerned about Okami at all, and maybe you didn't have a forum post, or maybe you didn't have a Twitch account just yet, or whatever, if you voice it, you're a troll now. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We always have open doors. Apparently, DSPs making a lot more haters this way, so... So yeah, okay. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was a good one. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I am very sorry Douglas could not join us for this video. He's out there doing tree stuff. Hopefully he'll be back for another video. Hopefully. Hopefully, guys. Doug loved it here. He loved it. And maybe he'll come back. If you made it this far, hashtag uh hashtag bring back Doug. Yeah, hashtag bring back Doug. There we go. That's a good hashtag. No way will that be confusing or anything. Alright everyone. See ya next time.